A man named Aldrich once said that a man is known by the company that his mind keeps. And I just want to elaborate on that and give 3 examples. So first is my friend Jason, and basically what's on his mind, what's always on his mind is like money and business. He's a businessman. He opened up his own shop. He's just like all about money. Even for his brother to borrow money from him, he charges like interest and like makes him sign a contract, or he'll need collateral, pink slip, or whatever. Like money's just always on his mind, and that's what everybody knows him as. He's a businessman. He makes 6 figures a year. He's just that guy, you know. And second is another friend of mine. He's like the hustler kind of type, and he kind of like, well, yeah, he sells weed, and yeah, he's just like always hustling and selling stuff, and that's always on his mind. Another friend, it's kind of shallow and like misogynistic or whatever, but like girls are always on his mind, and like he has a job, but it's only like enough to pay bills. Like what's always on his mind is just like getting at girls. That's what he's about. That's what he's known about. So just elaborating on that, like whatever's on your mind, that's what you would be known as. Like it'll manifest to your reputation, pretty much. And that's all I got to say.
Xavier, what was the time on that? Because I didn't start.
1:43.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, there's not really an attention device. You have a quote that you use as the attention device. I assume it's the quote that you had. I think it's a little direct. It sounds like you're agreeing with the quote, so that's your position on that. That should be a little bit sharper. The only thing that would count as a preview is that you did say that you were going to be talking about your 3 different friends, but I don't know what distinguishes those 3 friends until you get to each of those points. So as a preview, I think that's a little underwhelming, but you do have distinct points that you're talking about on each of the friends, so that makes it a little bit more organized. The content, though, is a little bit thin. You know, I think on the first friend, for instance, you've got a few little details here and there. You don't have a particular story, but I did like the fact that made his brother sign a contract in order to borrow some money. I wonder what it is that he put up for collateral. You know, you could tell those stories and make it a little bit more intriguing that way. The second one, I think you recognize that your friend's a hustler, but you didn't know any of his hustles, and so you didn't have a story to tell about that, even if you'd gotten hustled at one point, or if maybe he'd sold something that he really didn't own, and that's one of the ways that he's making some money. I don't know, you know, what's going on there. There's not much detail there. And on your misogynistic player friend, I think that you probably tell a story about one of those relationships that's really not going anyplace, and it's all just about, you know, the sexual gratification before we move on to the next flower that this guy thinks of himself as being like a bee. You know, I'm going to pollinate the whole world. Something, you know, with a little bit more detail on it that's going on there. So it just feels like the content is thin, and I think the length of the speech sort of reflects that. Presentation issues, your voice drops out quite a bit when you're talking, so you want to be careful about that. I do think you have some variety in your voice, but you're not consistent about the pacing, and it feels sometimes very hesitant, and that's another reason that when your voice drops out, it seems more noticeable. You have some nice descriptive gestures in that first section, but your hands end up in your pockets frequently, and that just looks like it's nervousness. Your hand goes in your pocket, then it comes out of the pocket, then it's back in the pocket, and it's just like I don't know what to do with my hands. When you want to be engaged in talking to us, using some indicators and more of those descriptive kinds of things like you had in the first section of the speech. Your facial expressions are inconsistent. You have a tendency to kind of talk with your head crooked a little bit to the side, or looking down a little bit. And when you look at your posture, the same sort of thing. All your anxiety is coming out in your posture. You just look uncomfortable standing there, which is strange because I don't remember that you looked that way in your previous speeches. It seemed to me like you were a little bit more engaged and relaxed, but here you just look like I would rather be any place but where I am at this particular moment. You shift your weight, your body is you got one shoulder up, one shoulder down, then it's the other way around, and you're kind of twisting around a little bit while you're speaking. You got to relax a little bit more, be a little bit more deliberate and forceful in what you're saying. I think it'll come across more effectively. All right, we've kind of run out of time, so that's where I'm going to stop. Thank you.